Good, man. How you doing? Yeah, there you go.
Damn it. GG. None of y'all heard the intro. Again. I've done that before. But I realize that now, Brewers, and I've done it before. I'll probably do it again and again and again and again. But thank you for joining me, Baergan. Appreciate.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, glad to have you on Out of Bounds. And first question I always ask to everybody here on Out of Bounds, man. What got you into content creation? What got you into streaming?
So it's funny. I really didn't even get into the MLB community until the end of MLB 16. In which it was maybe December. It was like there was just Carl dude on there, and he
Yeah.
had like maybe 40 viewers or so. And I remember with Twitch, I was used to watching guys like Summit, Tim the Tatman, guys with like tens of thousands, and I'm like, what's the point of watching a guy with less than 50 viewers? But then as I got to watch more and kind of feel the rest of the MLB community a little bit and see different streams, I realized that there's a lot to offer with a lot of the things that the guys do, with content creation. One of the first guys who I really watched religiously was actually Quash, and it was when Quash. It was like January of 2017, and I remember he was still playing MLB 16 at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he had maybe 5 viewers, and I remember watching, and I saw him clutch this BR game. I think he was like 10-0 at the time or something like that, and just his energy was insane. And I was like, this guy, he does things really well. And then I watched him grow, watched him kind of do what he did, and he was always about quality and always about what he can do for the stream, giveaways, etc. And so I decided, I was just like, you know what? And as I got to watch more content creators and streamers and stuff, and I saw Cougs on YouTube, one of the biggest things for me was like, a lot of these guys like do this really well, and then you see other streamers who it's like, I I can do this. I share the same amount of passion as they do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bad at the game. I'm not amazing by any means, but I'm solid.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I think I can do this. And March 14th of this past year, I was like, I'm gonna go for it. Ended up streaming like 8 hours a day my first week because I think it was on spring break at the time for college. So I really only had to worry about my job at the time. And I got affiliate my first week streaming. So much support so soon. It was actually, a blessing in disguise because there was a lot of personal stuff going on, and streaming was just kind of that outlet for me. So I really, did my toes into it, and I've been doing it ever since.
Nice, nice. What really keeps you what keeps you doing it these days? Like what drives you to keep going?
Um, to be honest, it's my friends. It's the friends that I've developed,
Mm-hmm.
through the MLB community, through Twitch. Whether we're close and we talk every single day, or we don't talk much, I've got a couple of friends that even on days where I'm not feeling motivated to stream, I got to shout out Sports and Shoes, Jose, aka Blanco, D Boy Magic, Factus,
Of course.
and yeah, a lot of them they motivate me on days where I really don't feel like doing it.
Right.
But then again, it's so rewarding to go live, even when you're not feeling like going live, because you've got such a connection with you and the viewer that the ones that come in religiously, I have a couple mods that come in every single time. Um, you can't help but thank them and appreciate what they do. So that's kind of what brings me back always.
Right. And all you guys, I mean, even me are all connected in one way, shape, or
Yeah,
form.
exactly.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, we bleed that cubby blue.
Yes, sir. Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
yeah, we will definitely talk about more about the Cubs here in a bit if we really want to. But
Oh, I'd love to. I could go on for hours.
no, I know. I did the same thing with Coop. So,
Yeah.
Brewers fan, what's going on, man? Serenity. He says, "Who's this Baergan guy?"
Me and Serenity, we the other night it was funny because him and I were in a Discord. We were playing 2K with a bunch of our friends, and we were up to I want to say like 7 in the morning my time, 6 in the morning my time, just talking about basketball, baseball. He's another good friend of mine too.
Right.
He was trying to explain war to me because I was just like I've always seen war and I was like it kind of seems like a pointless stat, and now I kind of understand the concept of it a bit more. But I was like he taught me more in 5 minutes than I've known in the past 5 years about war.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah, kid's smart.
Serenity, will you go explain that to Draftneck Mark? Because I don't think he understands it.
I do agree with Mark though in that I think it's kind of overused war. Like I don't know,
Yeah,
there's more stats to look at for
there is
sure.
more stats to look at, but you could definitely look at that.
It's a good
And
way to generalize a player. I'll say that, but it's
right,
kind of like putting a cover on a book. You know, it's like you got to actually read the book. So.
right, and well, and he makes a good point about the fact that like um we talk about who's like the better player, and like obviously when we talk about Bryce Harper and Brett Gardner,
Yeah,
who's the fucking better player? But
yeah, it's a no-brainer.
it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. But who has the highest WAR? Oh no, it's Brett Gardner.
Does he really?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's probably because of his fielding, because Harper's fielding is absolute. Eh. I think he does. He just thinks it's overused. The way he thinks it's overused is correct. Some people use it as the only stat to say someone is better. That's yeah,
Yeah,
that
I've
is
seen
true.
multiple instances on
Yeah,
Twitter.
that is definitely true,
Yeah.
and that is correct, Serenity. Harper was absolute garbage in the field last year. So I mean, he somewhat of a defensive liability, but at the same time, how can you take away that bat? The the bat he has. So, but um, what games? Obviously, you started into MLB, and I got first wind of you because of JV Gaming. JV Gaming. Was watching him, and then he sent me to you because you were doing a 20, I think, per hour.
Yeah, yeah. So March 30th last year, I was like, you know what? How am I going to stand out in the community? You know, I got affiliated. I want to do something that stands out. You know, this community, I don't see anyone doing 24-hour streams. I think the only person I know who's done one is Clutch, right? So I'm like 24 hours, shit. I've done that before plenty of times, grinding like Counter Strike back in the day with my friends or Battlefield, you know, a bunch of other games. Um, so I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do a 24-hour stream. And then actually, Nurse Gamer Ryan, I saw him tweeting about Gamers Outreach and how they were trying to set up an event for charity and have multiple events throughout the year. So I was like, you know what? What better way to kind of just put your footprint in the community than to not only do a 24-hour stream but have every single amount of proceeds go to charity.
Right.
Um, and I'm pretty proud to say. And I was like, what was it? I think we ended up raising close to $300 in that 24-hour time period, and I donated like $120, $150, something like that. So, yeah, it was a really fun, very exhausting process, but
I can imagine.
yeah,
I tried doing that once, and it wasn't even for MLB. It was what game? Oh, it was 2K.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like the launch of 2K because like that was the one sports game that I ended up playing first before MLB because I before I had a console, I played PC games, and
hmm
there's very few like sports games that are on PC, and that just includes FIFA, 2K. That's it. That's
yeah.
it. Pretty much it. And when I played it, there was nobody. The community's dead. Community's like PC community playing NBA 2K is dead. But that I played that game on a constant basis. So like 2K was one of my first loves. But then I tried to do a 24-hour stream of that, and
That's tough, dude. With 2K, I definitely find a lot of moments where I'm raging at that. MLB, it's because of the game, but in 2K, it's the way the players play. There's a difference.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it was one of the older ones. But what ended up happening? It wasn't even any rage moments. It was Well, ironically, I didn't get enough sleep like I wanted to because I ended up. Well, the place I work for, the day I was gonna do it, I
Mhm.
forgot that they were having a meeting to get the new labor contract with the union,
Yeah.
and I needed to be there, and I didn't get any sleep, and I slept for like 5 hours.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I tried to get, and I was there for a long ass time because there was, well, as you could imagine, it's a labor contract and people were yelling and screaming, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pretty, especially when you're dealing with a $1 billion corporation.
Yeah.
Um, but basically that happened, and then like I'm like, fuck it, I'll buy a boatload of energy drinks, and hopefully my heart doesn't explode.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And I did, and then I went what was it? Oh, I tried to do it for a little while, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call from my friend. He's like, I got my car stuck in a ditch. And I'm like, oh boy. And me and my dad go save him because he's got a giant ass truck, so he can pull him out. Because he
Yeah.
thought it was a smart idea to take him and his girlfriend and go on a level B road and get stuck on potholes.
That sounds awful. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's funny that you mentioned having to go to work after because so the way I had set it up was like, you know what, I think it was like a Friday to Saturday type deal. I did 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. for the 24-hour stream. And it's funny because I went to sleep right after, and then I leave my phone ringer on, and I get called maybe 3 or 4 hours later. They're like, "Hey, someone couldn't come into work. We really need someone. Can you come in for us?" I was just like, "What the fuck?" So then I literally just got up, ended up working a 7-hour shift right after a 24-hour stream, maybe like in a couple with only a couple hours in between to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then it was funny because I stayed off Twitch and Twitter for about 3 days after that because I was so exhausted. I got an ad from Sports and Shoes, and he had the little skeleton gif saying, "Is Baergan still alive?" Because nobody heard from me for like 3 days. It was hilarious.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, that is definitely what happens when you do that kind of thing. I never really have been able to go like a full 24 hours, and I don't think I ever will. But I haven't tried yet, and at some point I need to. Maybe I will for 19, but
it's that 17-hour mark that kind of takes a toll on you. You're like, oh
well,
shit, there's still...
right. Well, I'm kind of thinking like I do what Clutch did. He takes breaks in between and then goes around and walks around his apartment complex
Yeah,
to stay
definitely. I
awake.
remember I did that for I think I took like 3 or 4 breaks throughout the whole thing. Um, yeah, you have to that and drink a lot of water. So
Right, I'll be definitely be doing that, and I'll walk around. Hell, I'll take my camera with me, and I'll start streaming that too. But Brewers, I want to do a 24-hour stream this summer. Best thing you can do, just don't overdo yourself. If you know you need to go to bed, then go to bed.
yeah, I saw you were 15 too, if I'm correct. And dude, it's tough. I
It
mean,
gets
I remember I used to be able to do it when I was younger too, but I mean, I still can. It's a lot of mental that goes into it. Like you just
with me like waking up so like early. I'm a you know I become I become a lame ass, and I'm going to bed at like 10 o'clock. So
oh
yeah, even on the weekends sometimes. So like, and I used to be that guy that was like staying up all night. And when I first
yeah.
started streaming, I was working second shift, so I was working till midnight, and I was coming home and streaming till 5 a.m. and then going to bed, and then waking up at like 2 o'clock and going to work and being at work by 3:30. So it was a grind, and then having not being able to stream to like many people because there was not many people on, and it was at the time it was 15, so it won't be
Yeah.
15. So believe it or not, when I you know, less about me, more about you. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. I don't mind getting no more.
Yeah, Brewer said, Serenity, to be real with you, man, you and Cubby inspired me to be a streamer. I feel like you and me are similar in many ways. We're both 15. We both are good at the game. There's just a lot of similar things you inspired me to do to become a content creator. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, Brewers. Yes, Brewers. I did see that Carl tweeted today, but I did forget to post the Undertaker gif every time he tweets.
Every time he tweets, you do that.
I not lately.
Oh,
It's
okay.
getting old. But
Yeah,
like
it's
because
funny.
like when he was like tweeting every what 6 months, he would show off a tweet, and then like when he tweeted that Brian Dozier was leaving the Twins, I tweeted it because he comes
Yeah,
back, then leaves, then comes back. I still stay in contact with him, so he's doing
that's
well.
awesome. Nice.
Yeah, he's doing very well. But I would like to let you guys know that throughout the stream you guys can ask Baergan any type of question as long as it's okay with you, obviously. And you guys can call in and talk to Baergan if you like to, especially with the topic we're going to be talking about here soon. With the MLB 19 streams, we're going to talk a lot about it. Probably more about the second one than the first one because I didn't get to see the first one. But um, the call-in number is 646-568-7788. Type in the meeting ID 204-998-3972. Now you know why that number is ingrained in my mind.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
got that on lock. Yeah.
Yeah, I could still read it off because I have a command in my chat, but like I could just sit there and read it for days. 646-568-7788 and type in the meeting ID 204-998-3972. Because
Wow.
yeah, because I've done so many of these episodes. I've been doing it since 2 or 3 years now. I rather enjoy it, but
That's nice. Yeah, that's good.
yeah. So, what do you got any like bigger plans, especially going up, especially with 19 on the horizon?
I mean, the goal for everyone's partner, right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah. I
always
mean,
afraid to toss that around. I
well,
think
it's
I, in terms of future plans, I think I'd definitely be a lot further than I am right now, especially if I stayed more consistent around August. It was just the game this past year. It was a good game. It was a good game. I'm not gonna say it was great because it had a lot of flaws, clearly, but in the same regard, I played it a lot.
right,
Um, it was funny because me, Factus, and Jose, we were pretty much addicted to the game during the summer. So much to the point where we're like, okay, not enough stream teams are running tournaments. Not enough community tournaments are going on. Let's do some like underground tournaments. Where like winner gets a $10 PSN or some gifted subs, something like that.
something you announced day of.
Yeah, exactly. It is day of. You got to be in people's discords if you want in on it. They'd be like 12 to 16 man tournaments, and let me tell you, they were really fun. Pit Crew was involved with that too. We had a blast, man, running all of that. I know I speak for all of us when we're probably going to do that again this summer. So get involved in people's discords. Yeah, we always
Getting involved
Jose's Discord is big too. Yeah,
Yeah, getting involved with the community is always the best thing to do, and that's why
yeah,
I love doing tournaments every year. Well, the one tournament I do every year. So, and
yeah. And real quick, kudos to Team Firm, by the way, for that the bounty tournament they had going on. Because let me tell you, I was really I didn't tune in too much, but I kind of had it on in the background when I was playing 2K, and they pulled a lot of numbers for this late in the year. Like it was pretty impressive. I remember talking to Sparky, or no, it wasn't. It might have been Buck about it. And I was just like, yeah, I was not expecting the numbers to come in the way they did. It shows people still have this passion for this game, even if it's
mhm.
kind of in the ground a little bit. But I'm really optimistic for 19.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic as well. I mean, I'm excited, and it doesn't hurt. It never hurts to be excited. By the way, with anybody don't like take what these people say and like think that, oh, I can't be excited about the game. Well, yes, you can, but like obviously we got to take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
We got to take everything they say with a grain of salt. But with the amount of stuff we have gotten, I think it's more than I have seen in a while. And
I do think SDS is really my biggest issue last year was it felt like they weren't putting in effort to really kind of reach with the community. It felt
mm-hmm.
like they had more dev streams going on in MLB 17 throughout the course of that summer than they did in 18, which was kind of odd to me because you would think they would do a little bit more. Um, I do think they are putting in more effort this year. I think the content's going to be closer to MLB 17 than 18 because let's face it, if your game is kind of meh, we'll use 2K as an example. The game's not by any means perfect, but they have
Mm-hmm.
content to really make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, with announcing Pudge and Fox today, those were huge names.
I mean, and
And
30 more and like 28 more legends too.
exactly, yes,
I'm
yes.
just waiting
My
for.
biggest concern with the streams today, don't get me wrong, I think it's absolutely wonderful. They're showing us all what they're doing, how they're doing it and stuff. My biggest thing though is they're showing us clips of animations in certain scenarios where it's a controlled environment. I really want to see, and I know they do it right before the game drops, but look at MLB 18 last year during around this time. It was so promising because they were doing the exact same thing that they were doing now, except a little bit less. Um, but everyone was optimistic until they saw the devs playing each other in game, and they're like, "Wait, what the fuck are these pitch speeds? Why is it so slow?" And the PCI is weird as fuck, like in terms of like the way that the hits were. I
Uh huh.
remember transitioning from MLB 17 to 18,
Uh huh.
the hitting felt way slower. Like ground balls, it was just like it didn't jump off the bat nearly as much. And
Well,
yeah, so
and as they said, they noticed at the back end that contact hitters, not just like power, the stat power in general, but in the back end, their contact hitting was not hard enough.
yeah,
But like I agree with you when you say this, that a lot of it was controlled environment, and they need to like per se
I'd like
like
to see gameplay and see if guys are,
and
squaring up pitches, what the results are, how are pitch speeds actually looking on different. I like, by the way, that they're adding different pitch speeds based on difficulty. I noticed that was one thing that came on.
I know that was one thing that they were actually bringing
Yeah,
up a while
yeah,
back in 18, but they never did it,
yeah.
and I am glad that's something that they are doing
I
this
think
time.
it really, because let's face it, it will not affect the top players. Top players will get their fast pitches. I'm being told on legend difficulty that it's the fastest we've ever seen in MLB the Show. So
If
if you're
it's
a crack
fast,
at it, you gotta, yeah,
if it's faster than 15, people will be quitting the game. I'm sorry, because
yeah.
15 was it was fast. Let me tell you, it was. Did you ever get a chance to play 15?
I think I did some play now games, but again, that was when I just barely was even like, involved with MLB the Show in general.
All right.
Um, yeah, so it'd be cool to see them do gameplay a little bit earlier on because it's like it's kind of just like it's a tease like, oh, everything looks perfect, everything looks cool, everyone's optimistic, we're getting pre-orders done, you know units are being sold, but at the same time it's like you don't want it to be misleading if you're SDS, right? You don't want it to be like, hey, we fixed all this, and then you got people bitching in April and May all over Twitter, like, gee, what's wrong with this, all this, and then they have to throw out a panic patch, and then it's a giant mess.
Yeah, and
Just,
then
I want us to know what we're getting, and I feel like these streams are good for the community and that bridge, but it also at the same time we haven't necessarily seen what we're getting because we didn't see
we
play of it.
we partially know what we're getting, but we're not fully seeing what.
Exactly. I
And
feel like
they need to take two different systems and play.
play each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and play each other. Not sit there with one system and two controllers. That's not going to work out.
Because don't get me wrong, there's so many times in MLB the Show where like Steve Pierce at second, or not even Steve Pierce, that's a bad example. Just any fielder in the infield, they've got ground balls and it's work. Everything's looking fine. There's multiple times they could be recording that and it's fine, but at the same time, you've got, what if why is my Albert Pujols just letting the ball go under his glove, and it's a light roller. Why is he not throwing it right away? The urgencies. I am optimistic about the urgency though. I do think that is something. Are we allowed to talk alpha at all or no?
I wouldn't. If it
You
hasn't been
wouldn't? Okay.
announced, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Okay. Okay. But just in general though, I am optimistic about urgency among infielders. I think that was something that they were stressing, and that's been an issue for years.
Uh huh.
So I am optimistic because I'd like to be able to turn double plays a little bit more. That's one of the most fun things to do on defense. So
Right, and I'm okay. A little bit off topic, but kind of not. But to most of the players that say they're not going to get the game, like
they will.
they will, they will. You will, you will. Quit lying to yourself. Quit lying to all of us. You will. You need to stop. You need to stop lying.
Well, and even too, like I have seen some players say this is the make it or break it year. I'm gonna get the game this year, but if it's not good this year, that's where I draw the line. It's like, but do you really though? Do you really?
Do you really? And
Unless
then,
RBI baseball just fucking kicks ass this year,
which I
I,
don't
I
see it
don't see that
happening.
being the case. Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I
Hey,
mean,
Marchese, how you doing?
what up, Marchese? They, I mean, you saw a lot of those, the RBI people were, trying to woo all the content creators with like free shirts and free stuff, and with all those packages and whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't see like anything coming out of it. It's just like it's like the old RBI baseball, and that's not really what we want, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
really what we want. If it okay, um, okay, basically, the franchise people, if like there's some type of franchise or online franchise in there, you best believe everyone's going to RBI.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people. Well, maybe not a lot of people. Like there's a small group of y'all that really preach about wanting online franchise back, but it was a broken mess.
I'll say this: if because you know how there was talks last year about what if EA makes their own baseball game? Because I think something about SDS with the rights for MLB or something like that coming up in like what, a year or two, was it?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what it was. Someone brought it. This is a conversation from months ago, but there was the idea of flirting around with EA making their own baseball game. I think if EA does make their own baseball game, they need to attack SDS where their biggest weaknesses, and that's online franchise, right? If you make a game that's strictly online franchise with a little bit, there's a lot more people involved than you think with that. I mean,
I mean, you think? Because like I've seen like
I
I've seen the vocal minority in the in the SDS chat because you see it all the fucking time.
this is true. This is true.
But do we see them
But
on Twitter? No.
yeah, that is true. It is funny too, right?
You're
I
right.
think casuals would have a bigger say if they were involved more on Twitter. I would love for the MLB community to expand on Twitter. Um, unfortunately, I don't know. You got to think too. There's a lot of people who are in early high school, right, for
Right.
their fan base.
You're right.
I think those are a lot of the casuals too, and
Yeah, I
you
know a
know,
few of them.
yeah.
I
So
A few of them are my family, so like, and I know like,
yeah,
and they sit there and ask me like, "Have you played Road to the Show?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like,
yeah.
no, I don't play that.
I think I made a Road to the Show character once this year, and I called him Papi Chulo, and he was just this big Hispanic guy.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it. Okay, I would not do it for Twitch. I would do it for like YouTube. Like it's
Yeah,
a good way to do YouTube series. I
it
don't
is.
right. I don't see it. I mean, you would consider the casuals that don't really play Diamond Dynasty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Diamond Dynasty is the closest thing to a competitive game mode, unless you're playing regs, which that gets boring quick. So
right, right. Well, question to everybody and question to you.
yeah,
Do you see esports this year or anytime soon?
I think esports. They, how do I put it? So by no means is Madden or 2K or FIFA a better game than MLB The Show. If anything, they're probably very sim. They're comparable. All of the sports games. I mean, let's face even NHL. They've all got their issues. They've all got
FIFA,
stuff people are gonna bitch about.
FIFA was one of the worst sports games this year, from my
Exactly.
understanding. And
And they have people invested in esports. I think if it was SDS's choice, I think they would be involved in esports, but it's bigger than that.
right,
It's the amount of money that people are going to allocate into esports. It's the amount of viewership. Because I mean, let's face it, with these dev streams, you had 3,000 people watching. That's nice. That's about where Madden would be. But that again, though, we're adding all those casuals. How many casuals care about top players playing each other?
yeah, yeah, a lot of that's casual,
They
and then you got like people watching on
exactly.
Facebook.
I
And,
I think exactly, and that's more casual than anything, right?
right,
Watching on Facebook. So I think because if we were to like break it down, probably what 500 to 1,000 of the viewers in those dev streams today, those were probably like not casual players, right? 500 to 1,000. That's a
yeah,
fair number.
yeah,
Maybe.
I'd say about that. I mean, I do remember. You do remember the what was it? The Showdown.
I do, but I don't recall the viewer count for
I
that.
don't recall it either, but like, if anybody remembers, let
I
us.
loved it. I thought that was
I
wonderful.
loved it, and
It
I
was low
wish
budget as shit, but
it
I
was.
loved it.
Yeah, because they had Mills, they had that guy from who was it?
With a really deep voice,
Yeah,
commenting
I
on the
think he's
show.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like. Can't remember what he was from, but they had him in that, and then Healy wins on a bunt.
That was amazing. But see, look we're still talking about that. Imagine all the conversation that could be had, and the buzz surrounding the game if you were able to have a championship for even start low at 5,000, right? Because 2K tonight, right now, they're having a best of 3 finals going on. $250,000 is on the line.
Right.
That's crazy for the amount of bugs that are in 2K, for the amount of issues that go down in 2K, the exploits, everything. There's no reason why MLB can't. Will they do it this year? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, not going out on a limb. It's pretty obvious. I don't think they're gonna.
Depends on who throws the most money.
Here's my biggest thing too with
money.
SDS.
Money.
And I don't know how many of you guys know Detroit Ski or Steel. They're pretty high up there on the leaderboards, right?
Yeah, I know.
They were explaining to me about how pissed off they were that ranked seasons leaderboards for all time, they weren't working this year. You could see how good you were during the course of like 1 month, but throughout the whole game cycle, you can't see who's top on the leaderboard. I mean, we know who like top 3 are, top 5, but like, what if you go, and that was a goal of mine in MLB 17 at one point. I wanted to get, top 300 players, top 100 players, and it's pretty shitty when you can't gauge how you're growing as a player if you're someone that wants to spam rank seasons all the time. Because personally, for me, Cubs, BR is not my favorite game mode. And I know a lot of people love it. It's great for content.
I'm gonna be
it's not my bread and butter. I like rank seasons.
Right, it's not your bread and butter, but I fully believe that's gonna be the esport part of aspect.
BR.
Yeah,
I think they could eliminate the 3 innings. I think you keep it 9 innings. So
that's gonna take too long. Not everybody's gonna watch a 9-inning game, man. I don't.
Maybe for the final, would you say?
Yeah, I do that. Like similar to like what like FOS does.
6 innings. Yeah.
Like what FOS did, because like last year what FOS did with their March Madness, they did like 3 innings to start the first round, and then it grew so on and so forth.
Regardless, I think they need to have a salary cap, or not even salary cap, but just like a tier cap where like you're allowed 3 diamonds, something golds, silvers,
something similar to Madden, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because certain guys might, and it depends too, right? Because I don't know, throughout a whole tournament, right? Let's say if it's 3 inning game modes, you're going to go with a common pitcher for your starting pitcher, right?
Right.
But let's say you make it to the final and you get to 9 innings. Are you going to rock a common pitcher for 9 innings? Or are they going to each, from quarterfinals to semifinals to the finals, are you going to be able to just
redraft or something?
Redraft? Yeah. Like, so it's interesting. I want to see, here's what I want to see, to be honest with you. Instead of them implementing esports right away, because it is difficult. You need money to do it. You need the, promotion, marketability. I really believe that at SDS, the dev team, it would be really, really cool if they could get Sony partners to host these tournaments and to announce them. I think what they were able to do with, implementing Sony partners, because at first when they announced Sony partners and they were just, releasing content and like debuting content, I was just like, okay, that's cool, but like, why would I ever want to be a Sony partner? Like, you get a couple extra packs here and there, and you get to release content, show people.
You get the game early.
Yeah, I mean, like, those are nice little perks, but let's really implement the Sony partners this year. I want to see, Quash, Shelfie, Cougs, like, let's get them all going for like, just, hey, here's this tournament that SDS is throwing on. Winner gets like an autographed bat that they send out, because they do giveaways.
Yeah.
I don't see why you can't play. And let's face it, I know recently there was a huge thing, and I'm not going to get into it because it's not worth getting into. That money's the only award for baseball, tournaments.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Okay, I'll be the
the
first.
amount of okay, it's the amount of money according to this guy. He likes to throw his dick around all night long, and I'm not gonna say your name, but you know who you fucking are.
Yeah, so it's like I think someone, whether you're making the tournament $500 or you're making it a Ken Griffey Jr. signed bat, we're all gonna take the Ken Griffey. If you're a baseball fan, you're taking the bat, hands down. Even if the bat's only valued at like $350, I don't know. I would take the bat. That's just me though.
Right. Marchese said if it's 9 innings, then no one will play. That
is false. All the top players prefer 9-inning games. That's a fact.
I agree. I disagree with that. Only, I would say this: if it was 9 innings, no one would watch. That's just me.
Hey, Subtape.
Yeah, what up, Subtape? Yeah, I didn't say you whip it out. You know who I was talking about.
See, right? Subtape would be all over that, and so many players would be. Like, if you throw in a Mike Trout signed bat or some shit, or even, like, Bryce Harper, you got your cover boy. First tournament of the year. Make it in May. That way they have all of April to practice. Once May comes, boom. First tournament of the year. Guess what? We're going to have a 4th of July one for the All-Star break. We're going to have another tournament. Oh, guess what? Postseason. You could have 3 tournaments in one game cycle, and I guarantee it'll draw some eyes. People will be like, yeah, you know what? I might be interested in sponsoring you. Or, just there's endless possibilities. Let's be creative, SDS. That's all I'm saying. It starts with them. They could definitely make it happen and gear this in the direction we all want it to go.
Take some points from the rest of the community. It would be absolutely insane. And like, no matter if I'm a Cubs fan or not, I'm still going to be going after like a Mike Trout side bat. I'm going to be going after.
If it's a Matt Carpenter baseball, I'll be all over it. I can at least use it as a giveaway. I'm not.
Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to keep it, and if you can't give it away, you could do other things with it. But, Dodger Dog says Cubs muted for anybody else. Nope. Yeah, Subtape. Yeah, ew. Exactly, ew.
If they're scraping at the bottom of the barrel, we'll get a Matt Carpenter signature. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, I'd still take a Cody Bellinger signed one, or any of those ones that they've given away. It seems like they have like an endless amount of this shit.
And you know what, too? If they wanted to even do any during the off season, like after the playoffs, they could get guys like Brett Phillips, Lance McCullers Jr. I guarantee they could reach out to them, have them promote it. I mean, there's a lot of little things you can do to really make this bigger, to really just have MLB The Show take the next step. And let's remember, too, this game is pretty young. If we're looking at it, like, MLB The Show 15 is probably where, like, most of the community kind of formed, I'd say. Like,
where most of them
14, 15.
As Carl said, it was the peak of the community.
Exactly. So, I mean, when you look at it like that, how long has SDS even been running MLB The Show? Does anyone know that? Like, I would love to actually know that because.
Hold on, I got that for you. MLB The Show, because I know I have a copy of MLB The Show 08 on my PlayStation 2. And that's how far I've gotten. But the show itself, with the name MLB The Show, has been going since 2006.
Has SDS been the
under the MLB The Show name?
Well, I just want to know how long SDS has been working on MLB The Show, because I mean, when you look at what they've been doing,
right, and before that, it was a studio called 989 Studios, and basically 989 Studios did their own MLB series, and the successor is now MLB The Show.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at SDS right now. They worked on MLB 07, The Show. Now, when we're looking at these games and how they've evolved, look at, like, the reason I'll say they're young, right? They're, like, I was talking to you a little bit about this. Mm-hmm. We are so demanding of a perfect game, right? But we've got to look and dissect this a little bit. MLB 17, they're like, okay, 16 was good. It was a solid game besides the bunchies. We are planting the seed of ball physics, right?
Right.
And each in 17 and 18 and now it'll be 19, they're planting seeds each year. So instead of kind of growing from that one thing, you're just trying to, okay, scratch that. We're going to plant a new seed. Now, I think it's kind of like, gee, they're going to use these past 3 years as a benchmark and see what was MLB 17, how much complaining was there for that game, how much complaining was there in 18, and there's going to be bitching in 19. If you think that it's going to be a good game, well,
It's not gonna
no,
be.
it's
It's not gonna
going
be
to be
fucking
perfect. Yeah,
rainbow.
it's going to be a good game, I believe, but it's not going to be perfect by any means. Anyone who thinks that it's going to be better than 16, it's tough. That's a coin toss.
That's a tough one to top.
I have to see gameplay on it. I can't be judging it, but I really do believe that they're going to use these past 3 years as a benchmark, and then for MLB 20, that's when they're going to grow off of it. And I
Right.
think they're optimistic that 19 is going to be a lot better than 17 and 18 because again, those are almost like new products when you're thinking about it.
Uh-huh.
Like with the gameplay and how you're implementing it, it's just yeah.
No, yeah, I know it. I definitely know what you're saying.
They have to grow off this. They can't just, shit, hitting this year is bad. Like, okay, well, then try to improve that rather than implement a whole new hitting engine, I guess I should say.
Right, and
I am optimistic, though. I am just cautiously, I think, as everyone should be.
right. I mean, do you definitely think that like the content wise could be topped from 17 or no?
17 was really good content, man.
Yes, it was.
I'm the biggest two things I'm happiest with content, or three, I should say, is the 28 new legends that we're going to see after the two that were announced today. I'm excited that there's 28 brand new legends.
Hopefully, a new Cubs one. We need a good one, please.
They fucking give me a gold Mac Garza again this year. That's when I quit. No, I'm excited for the 28 new legends. I think that's, again, more content is always better. More and more and more. Look at 2K. They have 5 of the same cards in their version of their Diamond Dynasty game mode. So why not? Why not in the MLB?
I mean, I don't want that. I don't want that like heavy. I don't want that like on the heavy side. Like I don't want like a, like the Juan Martial type card because like Juan Martial has like 5 different goddamn cards. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I didn't mind having a couple different Ken Griffey Juniors,
Oh yeah.
or Cal Ripken Juniors. Personally, well, anyways, let me get back. I digress. I really am also excited for the choice packs. I think that is a really smart thing to do. That's part of what adds to Madden's content and the appeal to the fans. And then another thing is the choose your team diamond. And I'm happy that they're announcing the team diamonds. I believe they said next week or sometime before the game releases. They're announcing every player that you can choose with whatever team you choose.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's like, how at the beginning of the game on day one, what's your favorite baseball team? I choose and get the Cubs, and everyone else should too. I'm hoping that they're like, make them diamond cards first of all. Right. I don't want to and I get it, it's day one. You don't want to have all diamonds, but if I'm choosing my favorite team and I get a card out of it, make it a diamond. Make it like that starter diamond. So like, this is my first diamond, even if I need missions to unlock it, which they very well could. They could be like, here's a token, to use this, you have to do missions or something. I don't know. But I'm glad they're starting to get more creative. And I think with creativity and effort on the content side, it doesn't make up for the gameplay, but it definitely helps make it a little bit of an easier pill to swallow, I should say.
Definitely. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, Dodger, they did say 30 more legends. They have they've confirmed obviously the 4 in the trailer and then 2 today, obviously Jimmy Fox and then Pudge. I mean, what can we expect out of Pudge? I know we're going to expect hell of a lot of defense.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really fun player to use, and with the urgency on defense, I do think that a lot of catches are going to be better. The biggest pet peeve is when the catcher drops the ball and then he just runs in circles around the ball. It's like, really? I'm just trying to throw this to first base.
All right. Well, what's up, Sneak Coot? Danny, I mean, I agree to an extent. I mean, you could add like moments cards in a sense. I I just don't want to oversaturate everything because
Here's my thing with the moments cards. Sorry to interrupt, but like
go ahead,
with,
go ahead.
with the moments cards on MLB, I think it would be very beneficial um to add them just
Right.
because you could add cards that like people would not normally use, right? I saw an example on Twitter. I think it was Lil Alex who was mentioning like um what was it? Matt Davidson from the White Sox, third baseman. Not a lot of people probably know him unless you're a diehard fan of the game. And he hit 4 home runs in a game last year. How cool would it be, especially with this past year's meta of power hitters, to have had a Matt Davidson in BR just for the hell of it? I think it would be a pretty
Maybe
nice addition, you know.
maybe like a moments card, but make it
If they
limited.
do, they have to do something really special. Like Christian Yelich deserves a moments card. You know what I mean? Sean Manaea, James Paxton, they threw no hitters. You know,
Yeah.
um, I think they definitely deserve what would be like a moments card because there were no diamond Sean Manaeas, but wouldn't it have been cool if you were an Oakland fan to have been able to use a Sean Manaea card or like a gold or diamond David Bodie?
Oh
That
my
would be sick
God.
because of that walk
Yeah.
off he had against the Nationals. See what I'm talking about? Moments cards have so much potential.
They do. And
Just limit them. Just limit them. Because guess what? We had so many Yeliches by the end of the year. Get rid of those. Get rid of the player of the months. Let's do player of the week cards. I think that'd be cool. You know, whatever player wins player of the week in real life, I believe should get a card unless it's a duplicate scenario. Then you
right.
would just need the second best. Um,
I mean, it doesn't complete. If you do it like limited, then it doesn't completely fuck with the upgrade system. So and then it obviously doesn't oversaturate the market.
yeah,
But for this comment, Brewer said, I was a bit confused when Tibbs said there was going to be a two-way player for a legend next week. No, they're announcing two legends, a
yeah, a
pitcher
pitcher and a hitter. Yeah,
and a hitter, and it's not much of a not much of a help there on the hint, but
yeah,
yeah,
right.
we know that. But in all honesty, I think they're gonna get a lot more. I think they're getting a lot more eyes on their game right now due to the fact that people are still assuming that Bryce Harper is gonna announce his team on a damn video game. I think it's a cool possibility. I think maybe there's like a 5% chance it could happen, but at the same time, I'm like, unless Sony bought the goddamn dumpster truck out full of money and gave it to Bryce Harper. It's not gonna happen, guys. Sorry.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because I was in the small minority that thought, gee, it could be a possibility. Now I got a lot of shit, especially from my friend Jose, aka Blanco. He gave me a ton of shit for it because it didn't happen. I had a feeling he was gonna go with the Phillies and they were gonna announce it with him. But I'll tell you why. Look at this past year of gaming. Look what Ninja did. Did you ever expect to see someone like him on CNN or the Ellen show?
No.
Exactly. Um, Look at the way that like MLB players are getting more involved with the Twitch community. It's year after year, and I think 2018 was the year to kind of just, you know, start it, kind of to jump things and make them go. But like, I think year after year, we're going to see more and more implementation of Twitch and esports involved with normal society. I mean, look, you've got Rocket League championships and CSGO championships on TBS. Granted, it's late at night and nobody probably watches it, but it's still on there. They're still having enough money and eyes on the game where they can justify putting it on a public network like that. I think that's huge for the gaming community in general as a whole. And I think for athletes to start getting involved, let's not forget on Brett Phillips' stream, we had Christian Yelich FaceTime his stream of a couple hundred people. Like, that's huge, you know? Granted, he acted very like oblivious and didn't know what Twitch was, Christian Yelich. But I think we're starting to head into a more gaming community culture. And I think granted, it was a wild take for people to think that Harper could be going to announce it through the game. I think it is a wild take. It's bold.
You can blame that MLB article on it because they went full in depth on it like conspiracy theory shit. And they wound up the Phillies fans, man.
I eat up conspiracies a lot, dude. I could go on about those. But no, here's my defense to that, because I really believe that, let's face it, has there ever been an athlete that was the cover athlete for a game where he didn't have a team? Kyrie switched. He went from, Cavs to Celtics, but we had a cover change in 2K17, 18 was it? I
Yes.
think it was 18.
18.
Um, so when you look at that and you're like, okay, well, they're not opposed to changing stuff like that, right? They're a little more loose. Now, granted, EA, again, third party company, they
Mm-hmm.
get to work with, PC and both consoles. Um, so Sony might not be able to do it. I think if, MLB was under EA, they might be able to do something like that because they have more money, just as a development team. But at the same time, I don't think it's unrealistic if they were to do that with a future cover athlete. Um, Again, we're thinking 5-10 years ahead from now, but I think it's not so far fetched, and that's kind of where I was going with it.
Like if
Because,
they throw the money there, like, and Sony has the money. Like, don't
yeah,
get me wrong, Sony has the money, but like obviously EA is gonna have more freedom on their like development teams. But
and the thing too is like, you know, how they're at those press conferences when they, like, the player's wearing his new jersey, he just signed with his team, shaking hands with the owner. They've got sponsorships in the background, right?
yeah,
Why not use MLB The Show, who would probably be a free sponsorship for you because they already have, you share licenses with them anyways. If you're the MLB, you'd be able to be like, yeah, here, promoting this as MLB The Show, or like,
that makes me wonder
or
though because
Sony. You just have Sony as a sponsor. You know what I mean?
it also makes me wonder though, like um RBI Baseball is made by a development team owned by the Major League Baseball, so like you
Yeah.
could see
So it
them.
might be competitive. Um, I find that really weird, by the way, too, how they're able to just share their licenses,
Yeah, and yet
their
they
rights.
have
Yeah.
they have a development team they own that makes an MLB game. Like,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
they still do promote, like, in some of these like games I've seen, like last year or something like that, they were I could see promotions for MLB The Show 18, and it's confusing. Like, it's just
yeah.
flat out confusing. Hello, Nats fan. It's going well, man. Good to see you.
I really believe that if they were able to throw the money at Harper, and I don't think it's as much as people are speculating it to be, because, I mean, let's say, you offered him what, like a million or something. I don't know the exact amount, so I'm not going to speak on that portion of it. But let's say you threw an offer at him and it was literally just, hey, when you know you're going to sign and you're going to announce it publicly, that same day, we're going to, like, instead of doing it through like, oh, Ken Rosenthal reports fucking Harper's on an 8 million deal, 8 million or 8 year, some crazy number of cash, and he's gonna go with the Phillies or he's gonna go with the White Sox or Padres or whatever. Instead of having it be like, kind of just, let's face it, every time we know a player is signing somewhere, we see it on Twitter before we get the notification from the MLB, right?
Right.
So instead of having it be leaked by like Rosenthal or John Heyman or someone of that nature, why not just be like, okay, Bryce, we're gonna have you sign this contract where we are gonna announce it through our game cover, like, and even then, not even like that's the only way we're gonna announce it. Just like show the game cover as he's announcing it. That's kind of where I'm going with it. So I guess it's where most people are saying, gee, it's kind of shitty to be like, and it's unrealistic to be like, yeah, we're announcing it through the game cover, not necessarily through the game cover, but if you want to expand, if you're SDS to the, community, we're trying to grow younger, right? The MLB, their
Right.
demographic is a bunch of old people. You want to appeal to kids, teenagers, and young adults. I think the best way to do it is, hey, you see this fucking athlete that is an all-star and he is a phenomenon of this generation. Guess what?
Right.
He's on our cover of our game. We want you to play this game. I think just doing it simultaneously, and I feel like they're not gonna do that. I feel like they're gonna be like, yeah, Harper signs with the Phillies, and then there's no talk of MLB The Show. I think in years to come, that's gonna be more of a possibility where they implement, here's our products, that we're doing, and we want to get our cover athlete to. I mean, it's such a rare scenario too with what Price is doing. So
Right. It is a weird.
yeah, I mean, we might not even get that opportunity again to see a free agent cover athlete.
Right. Definitely.
So.
Nats fan said, question for Bear, why does he use directional?
It's funny. Do you want me, should I go into how that even came to be?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So I even made an emote off of it. It's my tier 1 emote, and sub to Baergan, by the way. Um my friend D Boy, if you guys don't know D Boy Magic 34,
The
the
GOAT.
return the
The
return's
GOAT.
coming, baby.
The GOAT.
He used to, he joked about it, like, because him and I were playing, and I think I was just hitting the piss out of the ball. And he's like, Baergan, you're a directional hitter, aren't you? And I was just like, yeah, dude, totally. And he's like, I fucking knew it. So then, when we were in, group Discord calls and stuff like that, he would just say it, and more people were like, Baergan, use directional, like they would fall for it, right? So then he was just like, dude, you should make that an emote, like, because people think you're a real
Right.
directional hitter. And, I always go by this too, and this goes for anyone streaming and stuff too, or in the MLB community. Um, Tailing back to that whole, issue when we're talking about money as a reward or not, and that whole fiasco, um, it was publicity. And as much as you want to hate or like one person in that battle, they had 100 people watching it.
Wait,
And
what are we talking here? We're talking
the thing
the
with Firm, and they're in light of their recent tournament.
Oh yeah.
That is
It's
that
drama. It's drama, but
it's drama. It gets people in there. It gets you known. Now, again, that's a whole nother thing, right? People can know you, but what do you want to be known for? Those are two. That's a fork in the road that you really have to.
Do you want to be known for putting on good tournaments and being good people, or do you want to be known for throwing your dick out there because you have a bigger wallet?
Exactly, but both are popular at the end of the day. It was great for him to bash Firm the way that happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
They should look at it as a PR,
Stunt. Yeah.
mine there, because you just branched out. People who didn't know you and didn't give a fuck about you, guess what? They know you.
Yeah.
Whether they give a fuck about you, they have to watch your content.
Yeah, and they were watching you two. They were watching you two argue for an hour.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't know. I think in the MLB community and in Twitch and Twitter, if you're up and coming, try and be careful of your reputation, but keep it genuine. Oftentimes we see a lot of people who act differently on cam and off cam. So yeah, you just got to keep it genuine.
You definitely got to keep it genuine. I get what you're saying. Danny says there should be an easier way to get stubs, but like when you do, here's the problem with that. When the moment you like start finding easier ways to get more stubs, what do you think is going to happen in the process? Prices will go up. Everything will go up. It's just the way things work, and that's how that's how life works as well. Prices will go up, and it's not going to really change anything. And in all honesty, that's why I was glad that they got rid of with the missions, like the old missions where you could like get a bit.
Oh, my career missions.
My career missions, you can get like a bitch amount of stubs and shit. Like, and people were bitching about it this year that they couldn't get so much. And
see,
I agree with it. It brought the prices down.
You know what they need to do? This past year, they kind of botched it. Was the daily missions, right? They botched it because guess what? You just got some team, equipment. And that's cool, but 9 times out of 10,
I remember what was it, 17 or 18? I can't remember. Wait, no, 17. 17, where they had the daily mission, and one of my first daily missions was trying to get that diamond version of Will Clark, and I had to play so much fucking BR. I had to play so much BR, I did not touch ranked seasons for the first 2 months.
What I really think they should do with daily missions is they should have like 3 to 5 a day, right? And the harder the mission, the more stubs you get. For example, like get 5 hits in a game, that'll give you 500 stubs, or guess what? If you throw a no-hitter, you get 5,000 stubs. Because how rare is it to throw a no-hitter? And it has to be in ranked seasons, by the way. I definitely want to promote more online play. If you're able to, play, some people's internet sucks, and that's why they're forced to be kind of casual with it. But play online. That's like I don't get bothered by it, But I always find it hilarious how you've got guys that will grind for teams, only to just keep playing the computer. You know,
Right. They need to mix it up. They need to mix
I,
it up a
like
little more.
show more incentive to play online and deal with players that you play against. Like I think that's how you also expand the esports community is by getting more people to be competitive, right? You
Right.
know, and here's the thing: if we want to tail back to esports a little bit, a
Uh-huh.
thing you could do. So like top players like Magunsky, Zeke, Rab, all them, top 15, top 20 probably deserve to just be in the tournament regardless if they want to. The rest, I think, if you make it to the top 100 or top 300, maybe have a qualifying tournament, have a
Right.
qualifiers tournament. If
Right.
you make top 16 in this tournament, we'll add those 16 players to the real tournament where you get to actually play with the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be sick because I think last year in MLB 18, June, July, that time period was probably my best base, MLB the show that I was playing.
Right.
Um, Obviously I took a break in August when I went to 2K for a little bit, but I know I come back in like November and I'm trying my heart out to get the finest, I think was the reward to get World Series regardless, but it was a pain in the ass. But it's because I wasn't feeling compelled to play multiplayer. I wasn't feeling compelled to play MLB the show.
Right.
Um, I
Right.
think with their content too, that was a huge part of it. Like, they can't predict what their meta is going to be because no one knows how the game's going to play later. Where like, oh, power is going to be the best. So they really had no control if they already. Because I heard some people say they have a list already of when cards are coming out, but I don't. I think that's a conspiracy though. Like, I would love to get someone to confirm whether that's the case or not. Because how do you justify releasing that Ian Kinsler? What was it, a month or two ago for events?
Yeah, I remember that. It
He
was
had like 30 or 40 power. That's a fucking joke.
like I don't want that Ian Kinsler, man. Like I want to. There was that one year I had an Ian Kinsler. I think it was 17. And I liked that card.
17, yeah, that breakout Kinsler, man.
I love that breakout Kinsler, and I
But
wanted that
that's
back.
because that meta was different though, and you were able to use cards like him. Um, Real quick, a question I have for you: what are your thoughts on the Immortals and the 125 power or 125 attributes? Like, do they keep that going into this year? I'm very curious for the Diamond Dynasty stream because I want to
Hmm.
know if they. Because personally, the way I view it, get rid of Immortals, keep the 125 attribute. I think
That
that,
that is me too. Like
yeah,
get rid of immortals, but keep the 125 attribute, but like make it so you're able to like spread the content out because when you're keeping the content in just these set of cards where like these are the end all to be all cards,
yeah,
like it's not that just doesn't
yeah,
it
leaves
was it's
very
a
little
good
room for diversity.
like it's a good idea in theory. Don't get me wrong. It was a good idea in theory, but it's a better idea than Pepe Alzar, let me tell you that.
Yeah, yeah, this is true. Um, but like right now, I'm looking at Babe Ruth. Like, wouldn't it have been really cool if instead of an immortal Babe Ruth that because I'm sorry, he shouldn't have the power that he does and run still have a 60 plus speed.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't have minded like a 27 version of Babe Ruth, 1927. And like you could even have like there's so much potential. And I'm really excited. The new there was pictures leaked of the new game modes that were coming out. Where it's like relive this player's game back then, and for this amount of stubs, you have to do what they did. I think that's really cool.
Right.
Because the first 2K game that I played for NBA, it was 2011, the Michael Jordan one.
Right.
They had 6 separate missions that you had to complete to like get something. I forgot what it was, but you had to play the flu game or you had to play the game
I
against the
remember
Jazz in
that.
90.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
If they did something like that,
The
that'd
best
be
theme song
insane.
ever.
Yes.
That would if they did something like that, that would be
I
crazy.
think that you know what, and that's why I am optimistic again, cautiously for 19. There's so much potential, and I think every offseason they're going to grow, grow, and grow. I this to me, this year is not a make or break game. Neither is next year or the year after that. I think if in 5 years from now they're still having issues, they're going to decline in sales. There's no doubt in my mind, unless
Right.
you strictly focus on casuals, then because your whole competitive community fucking hates you. Um, I give him the benefit of the doubt. Keep.
Right.
And I know it's hard to say because a lot of people, if they watch this and they're like, "Well, Baergan, what the fuck? Why do I have to give them the benefit of the doubt when I've already done it 2 years in a row and they've disappointed both times?" Well, I mean, let's face it. You're bitching about these past 2 games. Bunting was a bitch in MLB 16. You have these issues. There's
They're
always going to
still
be something
learning.
wrong.
They're still learning.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'll tell you this too. From the beginning of MLB 17 to now, today, there was a couple of guys I didn't recognize on the dev team. So that means that there's turnover and like there's new faces coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited, man. I think it's gonna be something worthwhile.
Right. I am very excited as well. We're gonna take this caller and then get your guys' final get your questions out now, so then we can get these questions done. Get your final question, and then we'll get our final words, and we'll cut it. We'll cut it there. Caller, hello. You're on Out of Bounds with Custrain 004 and Baergan. How you doing?
Hello. Good. How are you?
No, not bad. Not bad. How you doing?
Good. I just wanted to talk about I just think the idea of last year's Immortals I think it just ruined the game for me. Like that's all anyone was just trying to do, was just trying to get Immortals, and it was just, I don't know. I just thought it was like a really bad concept and took away from like all the other cards in the game, really, because everyone just wanted to get Immortals, and there was no other cards that would you could use.
No, I agree.
Basically.
I agree. And it was good. It was good when they decided to start making more of them. Like Brett, Trout, and all of them. And a lot of those were easier to get than all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand what you're saying, and in all honesty, the concept good in theory, but when it comes to later on in the game, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Baergan,
Yeah. No, definitely, I agree. Something that I was thinking about too was especially if you're a casual player or you're someone who doesn't have time to play as much, you're either grinding for these Immortals who have the most tedious, boring missions known to man. I hated it, and I haven't even gotten Babe Ruth, and I thought I was gonna get him, but I'm probably not gonna. Or Ted Williams, 75 event wins. That's better, the Ted Williams one, but even for ranked seasons, some people just physically cannot make World Series on their own. And that's no fault against them, but guess what? They can't get the Ryan Sandberg.
I haven't.
But I bet you would have loved to use that Ryan Sandberg, wouldn't you?
Fuck, absolutely. You know me. That's what I'm saying. That's my name, CubsFan004. I love Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah. So it's it's amazing to me how they made a card that's this is endgame, and we expect everybody to use these cards at the end of the year. But some people weren't even able to get them. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a competitive player. I can't just fucking stare at the screen and watch, me hitting the same guy over and over on rookie level, to get Babe Ruth or to get Griffey. It's terrible. And oh my gosh, I had someone pay me $20 to finish the Duke Snyder mission for them.
I
in
remember
a couple
that.
hours. It was brutal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think Immortals, again, they were cool when they came out. Let's vault that, and let's go back to what made the game great, which is an MLB The Show. You had all these legends that there was diversity. You didn't have the same teams,
right? Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
I think they should bring back Team Epics. In MLB The Show 17, the Team Epics they were so good. Collect all the players, but now they're just not as good.
Yeah,
they're useless.
I agree with that too. Yeah, the Team Epics this year were very, very weak, and I'm sorry. When I'm grinding that much, I do not want to grind that much to get a gold.
Right.
Or a very
the D Gordon card was really good, but I wasn't about to do 3,000 at bats with Marlins players because there's no one on the Marlins really to use, and to get a gold with 99 speed and 99 contact, which really couldn't even have been that good with the power thing.
Right. Yeah, the speed was the only relevant part. The contact's just kind of whatever.
Right. Brewers, you type in the phone number and then it'll ask, type in the party's meeting ID, and then the meeting ID is at 204-998-3972. But I assume this is Danny, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for calling, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Good to have you. Thank you again, man. Appreciate all of you guys. If you, Marchese said, get rid of souvenirs and the exchanges. Yes. Yes.
But again,
Yeah.
those were to get immortals. You know, you get rid of immortals, and you kind of those are irrelevant anyway. You know, um, I don't think get rid of the souvenirs, getting rid of the exchanges, that's already going to go away if you get rid of immortals, so that's irrelevant. But the souvenirs, however, because they've had them every year, the equipment, the souvenirs, um, and they boost stats for your Road to the Show players, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, look at and again, I hate comparing. It's just there's a couple games that are ahead of MLB, 2K and Madden.
Bat skins are gonna be interesting to say the least.
Bat skins are going to be really cool. Will they up your stats though? Probably not.
No.
But let me say this though. In NBA 2K, I play the My Team mode, and it's pretty much Diamond Dynasty. They have badges you can equip to your guy. They have shoes that you can equip to your guy, and it will help your player in that game mode, right? So if Giannis can't shoot threes regularly, guess what? I could put shoes on him and have a coach that will up his stats for that category. Now, what I will say is like Mike Trout, right? Best card in the game. What's his one flaw? His plate vision's a little low, right? I think it's in the 50s. So that could be higher, right? But if I had a card like, these random seeds that are like gold tier, diamond tier, we're able to up his plate vision by like +5, +10, that'd be really cool. I think that'd be a cool, and I could equip it to the card. And you can have like unlimited versions that go for like, tens of thousands of stubs, or you could have like for the next 5 games, I just want Trout to be able to do that, have like limits on the souvenirs. I think that'd be a really cool way to implement them more into the Diamond Dynasty game mode, because as of right now, souvenirs weren't shit.
Right.
Unless, especially if you didn't care about immortals, you could care less about souvenirs.
Right, definitely. What's going on, EMPT? And I'm sorry, Terps. I don't know why you decided to do that while I'm streaming Out of Bounds, because I don't have my notifications on during Out of Bounds. But thank you for the 20-month resub. Good God, man. Thank you. You're almost... I know you don't care about the notifications. I mean, you do care about the fact that you hear the corn song. I mean, that's my that's my shtick. I'm from Iowa, and everybody thinks I live in a cornfield, right, Baergan?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I really don't. I honestly don't. I mean, I could drive 5 minutes, and there's a cornfield out there, but I mean, I know a few people that live in like those 4 corner towns that have one street light, but those are the towns. They also need to increase pack odds. I never pulled a diamond. I have been playing the show since. I don't know about that. Pack odds. I've always said this. If you're willing to take the gamble, it's a gamble for a reason. It's just like casino. You're gonna take the gamble. I don't think there needs to be any up odds, in my opinion. That's just me, though.
I think a real nice solution to it, and again, I'm comparing it to 2K, but it's because 2K knocks it out of the park when it comes to content. Let me know. I'd be curious to see what the chat's talking about or thinking when I ask this. Would you be opposed to them adding a new tier of players in MLB The Show? So, like, for example, if like you had, common, bronze, silver, gold, and then let's say maybe like a platinum in between gold and diamond. Because I feel like in MLB 17, golds were valued a little bit more at the beginning of the game, and at the end, obviously, they died. But in MLB 18, it didn't feel like golds were valued really at all. Like,
right.
Do you guys think no, you shouldn't add another tier?
No, I don't think so either. I just people think like there's not so many cards that. I mean, you did add another. They did add another. Tier.
It's like how many like the range between diamonds was so like it was long. It was what 86 to 99.
Right.
Was it this year? that just seems like there's too many overalls for the tier, if that makes sense.
Right.
Commons we could care less about because anything 65 or lower, I don't give a shit anyway.
Right.
But you know, I think if they were to add like not immortals, but like we have this special tier of cards, I think that might be, I know it's something that people are kind of meh about, but I mean, when I first saw 2K, I was really turned off by it because I was like, oh my god, there's so many tiers to follow. But if we're talking about pack luck, I mean, that's one way to kind of combat that, but not also make everyone just get diamonds,
I don't know.
Well, here's my question. For all of you that pull packs, right? Do you feel like it is a bust if you don't pull a diamond in that 20 bundle?
No. I
No?
don't. Well, I mean, if you do the the like the fantasy type, pick which player you want pack, I do like that. Like
That is going to be nice. I do think that choosing a player.
I do like that. Like if you spend a certain amount of money, maybe do that, but that would almost turn into Madden in a sense because that's what they do. Like you spend a god amount of money and then all of a sudden, ooh, you get a giant legend, man,
That is true what Gimp is saying. They kind of got to work on variation as it is right now.
Right.
But
They kind of like the variation's not really when they pulled back the overalls and made the variations different again. 18. I'd like to see what they're gonna do for 19. Like if they get rid of immortals, I'm fine with that. But like spread it out in the content. Spread it out in the content.
Yeah.
All right, Sneak Coot. You have a good night, man. Appreciate you coming by and talking to us. We're gonna get to this last caller and then get our final words here. And I know who this is. What's going on, man? This is Out of Bounds with Cubs Fan 004 and with Baergan. What's going on, Brewers?
What's up, Cubby? It's Brewers.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. First, two things I'm going to say, or actually three things, okay? First thing, make Conquest great again, all right? The rewards for the past 2 years have been terrible. MLB 16 Conquest rewards were amazing, in my opinion. One of my favorite cards was that 96 Prince Fielder. Honestly, because I'm a Brewers fan, okay? And another thing, like, forget who was, Danny was talking about the team ethics. Those were shit this year, except for that Napoli and that Jay Buhner. Napoli's still today my starting catcher. So you got those two things. And then the third thing was I saw in the Dev stream today, there was really no indication of them at all talking about the outfielders jogging the ball things. Like, I didn't really see anything about that. But yeah, other than that, I really liked everything else they had the Dev streams today. They had, a lot of good things to say. I felt like with hitting, they showed a lot of good videos. And fielding, I felt like was they really got the point across that, hey, you're really going to need good fielders this year. So guys like Lorenzo Cain and, maybe guys like Ollie Smith and that Omar Vizquel card, will definitely be useful in 19. So thanks for taking my call, man.
No problem. Yeah, of course. Yep. No problem. Appreciate you coming on, man. Giving your thoughts, definitely. I didn't see much about the fielding because I didn't get to catch that stream. It kind of MLB or SDS. It kind of pissed me off that I wasn't able to see the first stream because you guys were doing it when I was still at work. But oh well. I hope you do it at like the time that we've done it before. But that's just me. But yeah. I completely get what he's saying. Baergan, do you have any final words, man?
Final words for the call or for the podcast?
For the podcast.
For the podcast. I thank you first of all for having me on here.
Of course.
I know recently I had tweeted out something about being more like appreciative of the viewers and everyone who supported me. Past, present, and future. And another thing too, so I know lately there's been a lot of talk about whether the MLB community is the best community or not. I I feel like it's still one of the better communities, and I know it can get toxic, but with every community that grows, I think that is just it's a normal thing in life, you know.
You're gonna have that bad apple.
Yeah, you're gonna have a couple bad apples that come in, or have been in there and just kind of show true colors. I think this off season we've seen a lot of true colors come out, but at the same time, I think because here's the thing, the MLB community at one point did disappoint me because it felt like this community either really loves you or it can shun you like no other. Um, and I think it's because, you know, people respect, right?
Right.
If you throw respect around, then you're not going to get any of it. Um, you know, just not being a dick about a lot of things. I just this off season too, there's been a couple people I'm not going to name that I've seen actually get kind of out, like they've been the outcast, especially as of late. And I think, you know, because like when we have those big streams where, you know, there's Twitter beef and we're getting it on stream, if you read those Twitch chats, guys who I respected and I, you know, just thought more of, they were saying some things I never really would have thought they would say, and that's where it was kind of disappointing to me, and that's why I kind of revert from saying that we're the best community on Twitch. But at the same time, I think we are still one of the best, and you know, I think there's so much potential and growth to come from it. So
Definitely.
I do love all the people that make this community what it is, good or bad. They're all a part of it. So,
and you're definitely one of those people that make it better.
Dude, I appreciate that so much. I agree with you, and I think that you also definitely you make this community what it is as well. And I think you're that branch too from, you know, to bring in new people as well. So I like that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That is it from us, guys. Appreciate every single one of you. Brewers, Marchese, Danny, Sneak Coot, Gimp Gaming, all of you. Appreciate you coming by, asking questions, talking with us. We're close to an hour, almost to an hour and a half. That was pretty, goddamn, time went by fast. But thank you guys for coming by. We're definitely we're gonna be, to end the stream, we're gonna be going to raid Chew Man. I started it up at first, but they were making me want to do it now. But we're gonna raid Chew Man to end the stream, and no plans for a podcast yet for next week, but with the way things are going now, my internet's finally working, it seems like. So we're gonna be able to do more streams here, and I won't be, you know, stuck being a hermit for 3 weeks, because that's what I've been doing. But thank you guys. Appreciate all of you. Danny, usually these podcasts every Thursday if I'm able to get a guest. But thank you again, Baergan, for coming on. I appreciate it.
No, of course, man. I appreciate it. I loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this has been Out of Bounds with Cubs Fan 004 live here on Twitch. Later.